All right, let's get into it. This is a perfect example of how the media manufactures a narrative. They take a few disconnected events, some state legislature stuff in Texas, some of Trump's rallies, and then they stitch them together with a heavy-handed voiceover to create this big, scary picture. It's a classic move. They tell you Trump is an authoritarian, then they go looking for things to prove it. And what's their main exhibit? Texas. They're acting like this is some unprecedented blatant power grab. But let's be real. Redistricting and gerrymandering has been a part of American politics for a long, long time, and both sides do it. It's a political fight, not a threat to democracy. The very fact that Texas Democrats were able to walk out and stop a vote, or that there's a vocal backlash, shows that the system is working exactly as it's designed to, with checks and balances. It's a political battle over congressional seats, not the end of the world. Just yesterday, the Texas House passed a new congressional map aimed at giving the GOP more seats, and Democrats are already fighting it. That's politics.
Indeed, you don't have to take anybody's word for it. You can see it happening out of Trump's own mouth and in the action on the ground in Texas. You can also look to the vocal backlash to what many people view as an effort out in the open, starting far earlier than some of Trump's last efforts when he was in the first term, which were closer to the election. Now, we are a long ways away from the midterms, let alone another presidential. And yet, it's happening and earlier. And people are against it because democracy remains pretty popular. From town hall protests to Vice President Vance and Defense Secretary Hegseth, now getting an earful today in Washington. There are a range of concerns, and we can't always interpret boos exactly by their intent, but democracy is one of the big issues. Texas Democrats are also trying to stand up against something that most modern Republicans would have criticized any time before the MAGA era, and that they certainly still are suing to stop when it happens to them in California. But this is what Republicans are doing. A blatant power grab in an off-year, unusual time to carry out what Trump demanded, to change the rules in the middle of the game to try to get more seats because they are worried about losing a free and fair election in these upcoming midterms.
But the media's framing of this is intentional. They're telling you that Republicans are worried about losing a free and fair election, which is a perfect transition for them to talk about mail-in voting.
Trump, meanwhile, has been very blunt. He thinks that what he's doing is working. He's been censoring and attacking free speech. He's been threatening. We know all that. He's got a Justice Department that's going after some of his political opponents. And he's made false claims that are blatant. He's going after mail-in voting. And then he's been doing an old Trump style of laundering and raising things and then saying, oh, he's only joking. Russia, if you're listening. And then his aides say it was a joke.
Let's address this list of crimes one by one. Censoring and attacking free speech. You mean calling out the fake news media? That's not censorship. It's using his own free speech to criticize the people who are constantly criticizing him. A Justice Department that's going after some of his political opponents? That sounds a lot like the current climate with the shoe on the other foot. And as for his claims about mail-in voting, well, just a few days ago, Trump announced his push to end mail-in ballots before the 2026 midterms. He says they're a scam that fuel massive voter fraud and that everybody knows it, especially the Democrats. That's not a false claim. It's an opinion shared by a lot of people who believe it's a security risk. It's a debate, not a lie. In fact, he's pushing for a return to traditional paper ballots with watermarks and a clear voter ID requirement, which is a common sense reform that a lot of people agree with. It's all about election integrity, which should be something we all support.
Do you realize you are describing a coup?
No.
If you committed violence on that day, obviously you shouldn't be pardoned.
J.D. Vance, welcome to your new life. Yesterday, Donald Trump commuted the sentences of and pardoned everyone, from the most violent criminals who participated in the insurrection to those convicted of lesser offenses.
There has been no greater embrace in the modern era of people who attacked police and tried to overthrow democracy than those pardons. Pardons so extreme that now they've happened and people got used to it. That's part.
This brings us to the most controversial point,
The January 6th pardons. The media wants you to believe this was a blanket pardon for violent criminals, a move unprecedented in its depravity. They'll tell you it was an insult to the police officers who work every day to protect our community. And sure, some Republicans even criticized the decision to pardon those who committed violence. But here's the thing. Trump's pardon was about restoring a sense of justice for people he and many others see as political prisoners who have been treated far more harshly than other protesters. The official White House proclamation said it ends a grave national injustice and begins a process of national reconciliation. That's the other side of the story, and it's a powerful one.
Because what we're talking about is what Donald Trump says and does. We're not talking about, it doesn't even always matter how I describe it to you, as long as you can get the facts and evidence and make sure you're getting reliable information, which is what we do around here, what we practice. So forget the word dictator or the word authoritarian for a moment if you want to, and remember that Donald Trump did not leave office peacefully last time. That is the great stain on him regarding.
This last point is the best part of the whole clip because it's a perfect example of liberal media hypocrisy. The host says, forget the word dictator, while spending the entire segment calling him a dictator. He says, don't let them trick you into word games, while the whole show is a masterclass in word games. He claims to present facts and evidence, but what he's really doing is presenting an opinion and then framing it as a fact. The great stain on him is not that he didn't leave office peacefully, it's that he was not afforded a peaceful transition of power. He was spied on, investigated, and constantly attacked by the media and his political opponents from day one. That's the real story.